Welcome back, everybody, to Grab a Cup of Knit and Chat. Today is episode 51. It is February 22nd, 2026, and it's about 2:15 in the afternoon in a wet, gloomy Willamette Valley in Oregon of the United States. Welcome back to those of you who are returning. Those of you that just joined, this is my crafty corner where I talk about whatever I want to talk about because it's my channel. It's mostly knitting, crochet, fiber arts related, but I do embroidery, I do junk journal, I quilt, and I cross stitch. So you never know what you're going to see. Today I have a couple of finished objects, some long languishing whip finish, not a whole terrible lot to show you, which has been the case the last couple weeks. So I've been posting a video every week or just about every week because there's not a lot to show, but there's a little bit of progress. Today I'm not wearing any knits. And I guess let's get into it. Grab something to drink if you want, and grab a project, and let's get going. First, I want to show you my Quadrophenia blanket. I've talked about it over the last couple of videos. I've finally finished it. It's a pattern by K.F. Jones with the Bakery Bears where she uses an advent or mini skeins. I think it was made for an advent several years ago. And you use mini skeins and you're doing stripes, but you cast on a few stitches and you increase until you have a triangle, and you make 4 of those triangles. And then you sew them together to make a blanket. I finished mine yesterday. Mine is made completely out of scrap yarns. There's no rhyme or reason to what's in there or how they're done. I just kind of ran out of steam on it. And I was looking in my traveler's notebook because I have a notebook in here called Projects. Excuse me, in case I'm somewhere and I cast something on and I don't have my knitting journal. This was going to be my knitting journal, and then I decided to do more of a proper one where I have this journal. It's just a regular lined journal. It says pardon my French. I picked it up at Walmart, and I put, excuse me, these are upcoming patterns that I want to do. And I just kind of write down what I'm doing. This is January's sock squad for 2026. So what I did was, once I picked my pattern, I printed it as A5 and cut it out and glued it down and just went by that. And then I put a picture of the socks after they're finished, a piece of the yarn, the label, and I've got some stickers that I put in. I just like to have fun. That's pretty much all I want to do, is just have fun. So I did the Petal Drop socks by Handmade by Florence. You've seen them on the podcast. If not, you can go back and watch. And I've done that with pretty much all of my patterns that I have here. Some of them I have started. Some of them I haven't started yet, but they're in here and they're numbered. They're numbered in the order that I started them, not in the order that I'm doing them. So I was looking for the date to stop rambling. I was looking for the date when I started the Quadrophenia blanket, and it's not written down anywhere. But I've finished it. Let me make sure I'm showing the right side. Yes. I have washed it but I did not block it. So it's kind of some of my bind offs, because you bind off on the long side, and some of them, like this one, is a tight bind off. I didn't do a loose bind off. So as you can see, it kind of curls in on itself, and the points are not straight, but this is what it looks like. See if I can. My middle is a little wonky. I know, but you know what? I really don't care. I started out just doing stripes, and then this is the one that I finished yesterday. You can see I started out doing stripes there, and then I had a magic knot ball that I've done of different yarns whenever I finished them. So I just started right here where there's like micro stripes. I started there with that magic knot ball. And I used up the magic knot ball plus other, I think it was right here where this pastel-y pink is where the magic knot ball ended, was at the end of that. So the rest of these I just had little bits of. I do have a half-gallon mason jar that has one of those old-timey flip lock lids. You may not can see one over there. I don't think I have one up over there, but it just has that metal flip, and then you can unlatch it and open it, and then latch it back down and flip it down to lock it. I have one of those that all of my little balls of scrap yarn just goes in there. It can be basically 5 ounces or less goes in there. But I'm finally glad to have that off the hook or off the needles, because that was just, it's a very mindless project. So you're like increasing on the right side, just knitting across the wrong side until you get to a certain amount. And the pattern is done where you can use mini skeins. So it tells you how many stitches to do for each 20-gram mini skein that you're using to get so far, and how to change them out, how to fade them in. I think she's fading them in. I'm not real sure, but I just did the scraps and I really like that. And I like the way it comes to the point in the middle. It's almost like doing that, like a Battenberg type crochet blanket, where you just start with a little bit in the middle and then you work out. And it's just got that nice gradient like that. Which I thought about doing one of those blankets, just starting with the middle with scrap yarns and just working out. But I don't know if I want to do that or not. But that's it. That weighed, this blanket used something like 428 grams of scrap fingering weight yarn. Yeah, 428 grams of fingering weight yarn is how much this blanket weighs. And it's not, it's more of a throw or a baby blanket size. I mean, you can use it for a baby blanket, but you know, just sitting here in the chair, I have it under my toes and it comes up to right here. So it's not too bad. It's not going to come up that far if you're sitting with it hanging over your toes, but I have it just, I'm holding it with my toes and that's it. That's how far it comes up, and it can stretch out, and I'm sure it's even bigger if I were to block it, but I did not block it. Like I said, I just washed it, I put it in my spin dryer, and then I just hung it up on the shower curtain rod. I just laid it over that and just let it dry. That's all I did to it. The next one, excuse me. I have not even taken off of the blocker yet, but it is my Sophie Hood that I did using Kelborn Woolens Andorra yarn that I had left over from my Fiber Tales top, the one with the little crocheted border at the bottom and the tie at the top neck. I had 2 skeins left over of that, so I wanted to use those up and make something pretty. And Mark Vogel from YouTube is doing a, sorry, I keep dropping everything, a sparkle along. And I was like, oh, I can do that. I'll do that easy, right? No, it wasn't easy. So this is Petite Knit, the Sophie Hood. I'm sure you've seen and heard of it before. I haven't finished this out. I started this on January the 10th of 2026, and I finished it February the 20th of 2026. And I used Andorra from Kelborn Woolens in Cloud Gray, and I held it double because I had 2 skeins, and I want to say that she uses a DK weight, and this is a DK weight, but it's a very light DK weight. It's like holding 2 fingering weights together, getting a DK weight. So here it is. And let me put it on. I have my ponytail in, so this is it right here. That's it, tied like that. Or you can just do it like so underneath your coat and have your coat buttoned up. And then if you don't need the hood, you can just kind of put the hood down and you have the scarf. So this yarn is a little bit itchy right on the neck. It is 60% merino wool, 20% Highland wool, 20% mohair. And I can feel the mohair because I'm kind of sensitive right here. I love the color. I love the fabric that it gives. And it's nice. The issue that I had was I held this yarn double along with a silver Coats and Clark metallic thread. Let's see, you can kind of see the shimmer just a little bit. I just held it in the middle part. Not very much shimmer. It's just a very little bit of a sparkle. It's almost like, there it goes. You can just kind of see the silver sheen in there every now and then. It's kind of like having a Stellina yarn. But that's what I did. It doesn't add anything to it. It's just it's like a sewing thread. You get it from the sewing aisle. And I held it with it, but it took 3 skeins of this to do it. And I'll tell you why it took me 3 skeins. I started over here and I was doing the medium size, and I get up here and I'm like, I haven't touched it in a month because I started it in January, and 3 weeks later, almost 4 weeks later, I might have picked it up and I was like, oh, I'm making the large size. I make the large size and everything. So I'm going, and I get up to where the end of the hood shaping is, and I'm coming down this way, and I get right here where you bring it back together and you split it back, and I run out of yarn. And I was like, how did I run out of yarn so fast? It was like I was going through that. I should not have run out of yarn that fast. I went all the way up one side before I ran out of yarn, like right in here. I think it was like right in here I ran out, or right here I ran out. No, right in here. And I added the second skein, and I came on around, and I came down to here, and then I was out of yarn again, and I couldn't understand why. And I get down to about right here, and you see how wide it is right here. I did rapid decreases because I was doing the size large, and I should have been doing the size medium. So it does look a little different. This looks different than this side because this is where I was doing perfect, and this is where I messed up. But you know what? When it's on my head, I decided when I realized it, I was not going to go all the way back and redo it. When it's on, in use, under my coat, you're not going to be able to tell a difference. So I have not weighed this one yet, but it was 350-gram skeins of Kelborn Andorra yarn. When I ran out, it was last weekend, and last Friday, a week ago this past Friday. So it was last weekend on Friday. I was trying to finish it up. I thought, oh, I'm going to work on it all day. And no, I ran out of yarn. So then I panicked because my local yarn shop had sold out of it and didn't have it anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't find it anywhere. And I went online and I found it from a little shop in Pennsylvania. I want to say McWalker. Let me look real quick. They were so awesome. McWalker Yarns. And they had 3 of them. And I ordered one, and it came in on Thursday, and I finished it off and blocked it. So it was awesome. So I ordered it. It came in. It was less than a week to get here from Pennsylvania. So I finished it off. Yay. I finished it the 20th, which was Friday. So a week later than I should have because I had to order yarn. Sorry, I'm very hot right now. That's what I'm having a hot flash and I'm dropping everything. This is where you wish I would learn how to edit, right? Those are my 2 finishes. I'm very proud of that. That's a lot of yardage out, a lot of grams out. That's a lot of scrap yarns out. And other than those 2 things, I haven't really been working on a whole lot other than my February Sock Squad socks, which I have shown and I will show again. This is the Golden Garden Socks by Fairlight Fibers. That's the pattern right there. Golden Garden Socks by Fairlight Fibers. I love the details. I love the color work. There's color work on the toe. There's color work on the cuff. And This is one of them. I have ends hanging everywhere. I just finished the second heel flap and gusset this morning. So I have one that's just ended. This one just ended the heel flap and gusset, so I don't have much done on that one. And this one is a little bit a ways. And if I stay true to what I want to do, I should have them done by next weekend to be able to have them done within the month that I got the yarn, because I'd like to do the Farmer's Daughter Fiber Sock Squad yarns in the month that I get them. So I did that with January's. This is February's. You can see the little heart motif. So the yarn is this red and this red for the February colors. And in the color work, I used this speckled yarn that actually has a light pink, a blue, and a darker red that I dyed several years ago. And I just had a little bit of it left, so I used it for the color work. So I did the cuff, and I'm doing the foot in the main color red, and I did the dark red and the white in the color work. And this is all of the colors that I used. Now there is color work that's supposed to be around the toe or around the foot right before you start the decreases for the toe, and I am not going to do that. Number one, I want to get them done. Number two, unless I take my shoe off to show someone my socks, no one is going to see that except for me. And quite frankly, that was enough color work doing that. It's not hard. Don't get me wrong. It is not hard. I did put a little tutorial, a little 7-minute video up on the channel that showed how I do my color work to keep the tension, because I'm really bad at keeping tension on color work. So I learned how to do what they call knitting inside out to help with that. Am I talking really fast? I feel like I'm talking really fast. Let's see if I can slow down just a touch. Not much. I keep dropping things. Every time I touch something on my desk, it falls over. I have a stack of sticker books like this off to the side, and pictures that I printed out with my little sprocket. This is my HP sprocket photo printer. It makes little sticker pictures like this, so I can take pictures of things. I showed last week a picture of my friend's orchid that she had sent me, and I asked her if I could add that to my journal. She said yes, so I printed it on here to make it a sticker, and I'm able to put that in my daily journal, which is something like this. This right here is just a sparkly journal that I got several of from a garage sale, and I Mod Podged paper pieces on top of it to give it some decoration. And then I went down to Dollar Tree and got one of those elastic headbands, cut a little piece of it, folded it together, glued it into some paper, and then glued that on here for a pen holder. I like doing little things like this. So now I have a pencil holder or pen holder, and I can take that whatever. This is my notes for podcasting. which is very minimal, but that's what it is. It helps me to remember what number episode I'm on. I still have to take a picture of my Sophie Hood and my Quadrophenia, but I did the same thing with, let me look at my notebook here. I did that with my alpaca that I showed last week that I had finished. That was the HP sprocket picture that I took of the one that I did, and I just stuck it in here as a sticker. So I'll do that with the others. The Sophie Hood has a project page in that notebook, so I'll take a picture of the Sophie Hood. The Quadrophenia, I forgot to write down anywhere, or I did not write it down anywhere, so I probably won't take a picture. That'll just go downstairs in the chairs, or it'll go with us whenever we go camping or whatever. It's almost a perfect, if you know what a hap is, which is like Irish or Scottish, I can't remember which one it is, word for a shawl. It's almost like a full hap, and a full hap is kind of a square rectangular shape, so it's gonna be awesome. The only other thing I've been working on lately is my painting honeycomb shawl. I showed it last week, or I talked about it last week, one of the two, and I can show that whole page. It's a Stephen West pattern. And this part of the pattern shows you it's mini skeins of fingering weight, or you can do DK weight. I'm doing fingering weight. And you know what? Now I'm wondering, was I supposed to hold this double? No. I guess I should have held it double. No, it's using mohair, and I don't do mohair. Sorry. I was like, this whole time, I'm just like, I'm in the middle of a row. So, yes, it is word, but you'll get the gist. That's it, right there. It's not very wide yet. I am using this Cascade Heritage, and I don't know what color it is. They only have color numbers. I'm using scraps for this. So this is Cascade Heritage. I have a bag full of scraps. I have 15 different scrap yarns in here, all numbered 1 through 15. And what I'm doing, I'm going to show it this way, is this one's number 1, and then I go all the way up to 15, which is this one. Excuse me. And then I start it over. So that's 2 rounds of 15. And then I start it over. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm loving it. And then after, if you want to look on Ravelry after I did last week's podcast or episode. I was looking to link and I pinned a comment in the comments that when I was linking the painting Honeycomb Shawl, you can do it in a small or a large. And it says the only difference is the size of the honeycombs, which is this right here. So these are the small ones. So you're only doing it for so many rounds. And the large one can be either longer or wider, one of the two. I'm doing the small. And it's so squishy and it's so lovely and it looks very difficult. But honestly, if you can knit and purl and increase, that's all you need to know. So when I was linking the pattern for it last week, I did notice that he now has a painting honeycombs blanket. Oh, that would be so wonderful. And it's kind of like a baby blanket size and a throw blanket size. I think I need to do that. I'm going to have even more scraps. When I'm done with this, some of these scraps are still going to be, there's still going to be quite a bit of them because some of them were full skeins that I had no idea what I wanted to do with. And I thought, after I saw Rachel and Renee from Table 10 podcast doing theirs, I thought I can do that because I have that gorgeous dark green and I have lots of moody colored scraps that I can do. And then I threw in a couple of light colored scraps like those pinks and purples and yellows because I thought that would be so awesome. Just so awesome. And I'm loving how it turned out because I do not do very well when I'm picking colors for things. But I really enjoy this shawl. And I'm not a shawl person, but this looked so good and so scrunchy. And I got it and I started it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm loving this. And now he's come out with the blanket. I wish I had done the blanket first. But you know what? I'm loving the shawl. And when I'm done with it, I can just add more colors. And I'm looking and just, I can use the same colors and just add different colors. But I started that August the 31st of 2025. And you're doing the same thing. It's I want to say it's like a 4 or 5 row repeat, but it's not really. It's more than that because you're doing one of these rows, and then you're doing one of these, and then you're doing that again, and you're adding another one, and you're doing it again. And the whole time, because you start here, the whole time it's growing outwards. So it's a lovely, gorgeous looking knit that's pretty much mindless. And I got disgusted with it because it was taking me forever to do it. But it doesn't really take forever. And this morning I did one honeycomb repeat, like one of these. And then I stopped and I worked on my socks. And then I picked it up and I did another one of those. And I stopped and I worked on my socks. So it's not that bad. it's just repeating it. It's like the stockinette part of a sweater, and you're doing a long sweater, and you've got long sleeves, and it's nothing but knitting and the round and the round and the round, and it's the same thing, and it's not any like real excitement. That's all I've been working on. I do have more whips, but I'm really trying to work through some of those, and I've been getting kind of excited about a couple of things like the painting honeycombs blanket that I saw. I would like to do that. And then I've seen, what was it? I saw Stephen West Musical Mystery Knit Along from 2025 on someone's podcast. I think it's Emma Makes, or Me Emma Makes, or I think it's Emma Makes. Anyway, I saw theirs. They just put up a new podcast this week, and what they call behind the seams, and they were doing a lot of weaving in ends, and they were showing the back side of the musicale and all the ends to weave in and things like that. I've also seen it on a Town Called Yarn podcast. I've seen theirs, and I really like it because it's 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. It's like 437 grams of each yarn, and it's only 4 or 5 skeins. I can't remember. I say 4, but now I'm second guessing myself. And I have all these yarns in my stash, and I think I could find a really nice variegated yarn and some skeins to like match it, and let the variegated be my, what he calls pop of color, because you have one that's kind of off from everything else, but I have it in my head of what I would like to do, so I'm thinking about doing that. What else am I, oh, my book. I got the Embroidery on Knits book this last week, um, by Judith Glumlich. I I really like this. I've seen, it's a Sarah has this book, and she used it to fix a cardigan that she had burned a hole in. I think she used this. I think she has this. I may be wrong, but I really am liking it. Oh, and Summer Lee, I think, has gotten this one because she knit a couple of sweaters, or she knit a sweater and she's doing embroidery on it. And I really like it. And she has some templates in the back, so you can kind of draw on your um, uh, interfacing type stuff that you're going to use. Um, and then you can have a template to follow. Love it. I I have had it in my cart for a very long time, and I ordered something else from Amazon and just got it from them because I needed a couple of dollars because I don't have Amazon Prime. Um, I usually just put things in my cart, and then whenever I have enough to get free shipping, if I cannot find it from somewhere else, or I have not found it from somewhere else, because I like to go to local knit shops if I can get things. My local knit shop didn't have it. Um, she had sold out, and I'll just put things in my cart, and then if I don't find them somewhere else, or I don't find them cheaper somewhere else, or I can purchase them somewhere else without having to have them delivered, then I will do so. And if not, then I put something, I get it to where I get the free shipping. Let's just say it that way. Okay, so I have rambled and rambled, and I don't even remember what I was talking about half of the time, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a nice, lovely, wonderful day. I just wanted to kind of show you that I am working on finishing things. I am getting somewhere on things. Not the things that I want to. I still have one that's in timeout that I really want to get done, and that's my Haruno cardigan. It's still sitting on the spare bed over here next to me in its basket in that total timeout. So we'll see what I can get done with that. And just enjoy your weekend, what's left of it. And remember, you can only do what you can do during the week. You're only one person. You are not everyone and everybody's savior. And sometimes you just need to save yourself. Bye.